Okay. So today's plan is first of all we'll look into Scoop is already done, so Scoop is not it. Hive, then we'll look into Pig, and then we'll look into Flume. Okay. Any doubts on what we did yesterday?
No doubts.
Okay, good. So everything is clear or nothing is clear?
Theory is clear.
And the lab?
We need to do the lab. I need to do the lab.
Okay, but from the demo of the lab, it was clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Madhuri, not audible. Okay, good. Okay. So today we would be talking about Hive, Pig, and Flume, and then we'll see lab of Hive and Flume, and the lab of Pig is very simple, so it would be directly an assignment for you. Okay. So now I won't get into the details of the backend may map reduce how the libraries used or yes. Okay. So we would now get into the backend of how exactly the it goes to the processor, then it gets compiled over there and this and that. We'll just talk about the front end. Not front end, but still. So now what we have is again our client, and we have our HDFS. Okay. So in our client, when we install Hive, what do we get? We primarily get two things. One is your Hive ka shell, and other one is Hive ka meta store. What is a meta store? Okay, what is metadata?
Metadata is about top level identifications.
For example,
Like your file attributes could be a metadata, but there could be some important attributes shown at the top level, but might be some hidden data at the back end.
mm, example. Okay, file attribute. Okay. Can you give some example in terms of a database? Madhuri? When you talk about a database or when you talk about a table, what is the metadata?
Table name
And
and the field names.
so in short, the table definition is the metadata and the actual data is the data. The
Yeah.
records inside that table is the data, whereas the schema. what we call as schema, or the definition of that table, which will specify its name, the names of its columns, and the data types of its columns, which is called a schema. That is called as the metadata for that data, for that table, right? So what we
Yeah.
have in Hive is, when we install Hive, you get a Hive-ka shell, you get a Hive-ka metastore, and in your HDFS, what you have to do is you have to create and configure an area called as warehouse. What we get is, in client, Hive-ka shell, Hive-ka metastore, and in HDFS you have to create a directory called as Hive's warehouse, and you have to configure it. So now if you look at this, then your HDFS will look something like this now. This is your HDFS. This is your slash user slash wisdom, and this is your slash user slash wisdom slash warehouse. Clear? So this is your complete HDFS, in which you have already created a directory which is called as slash user slash wisdom. Now you will create one more directory under user itself by name wisdom, under user by name Hive, in which you'll have warehouse. So slash user slash Hive slash warehouse. So why are you creating this warehouse wala directory under Hive under user? Because we want to give our Hive ka internal user all roots, access and permissions to happily work under this area. Why we created slash user slash wisdom? Because we wanted to give our wisdom wala user access to this area, to some part of HDFS. We wanted him to have free access and all privileges over the some part of HDFS. So we created a directory for him saying that, okay, this is your home from today and you can do whatever you want to here without the need of getting into anybody's permissions. Similarly, we would create a space for our Hiveka user inside the this thing HDFS, so that even he can operate freely in there. This is clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Then normally in databases, what we do is, whenever we want to query something, we have a load of data with us and we just need to create a table and insert that data into that table, right? But in this case, what we would be doing is, now let's say we have a file here which is called as empdata.txt. Okay, empdata.txt. Now this file looks something like this. It is a tab separated file. It is a delimited file whose fields are terminated by a tab. So it looks something like this. One tab ABC tab 1000, then two tab PQR tab 1500, then 3 tab MNOP tab 2500. Okay, this is kind of how your this employee.txt looks like. So now, first tell me this. Let's assume that we don't have anything like Hive. We don't have a SQL ka interface. Now, if from this file I have to find the name of the person whose salary is 1500, or name of those employees whose salaries are more than 1000, then what can I do? Hello?
Yeah, probably you can use some other technologies like Excel or maybe some scripting to get out of that data.
So this is in HDFS. So the data is in Hadoop. Come on guys, the data is in Hadoop.
So you need to write a custom jar file.
Jar file.
Yeah, custom programming to get this data.
Okay, so see, maybe the answer is correct, but 100% the way of answering is wrong. Okay, if you see this, that you have to write a custom jar file, then the interviewer is going to surely understand that you don't have the, he will pursue that you don't have complete knowledge of what is going on. So the only thing you can say about programming when it comes to Hadoop is you can write a MapReduce program. This is what
Okay.
you meant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the only programming model in Hadoop is MapReduce programming or MapReduce program model. So you have to make sure every time whenever you talk about programming in Hadoop or whenever you talk about programming in core Hadoop, you have to make sure that you say that I'll be writing a MapReduce ka program.
Okay.
So if provided that you don't have a SQL ka interface on Hadoop, then if you want to find anything out of this file which is there inside your HDFS, then you'll have to write a MapReduce ka program. Okay. Now can you both of you try to get a pseudo code for me which can get me the name of all the people who have salaries more than 1000 from this file? A pseudo code, not a program, just a pseudo code. The map logic and the reduce logic. Can you
I
try?
didn't get your question.
Can you guys
So this
try?
this should be a lab assignment, or we need to
Now,
do it
now,
right now?
right now, right now. You just have to give the pseudo code. No Java coding part is to be used. You just have to write a pseudo code or an algorithm kind of a stuff in which the end result is that we have to find the number of the names of those people who have salaries more than 1000. Try. Write an algorithm or pseudo code to find the salaries, to find the names of the employees having salaries more than 1000 from the file employed underscore data.txt, which is present in your HDFS. Intimate me once done. Done?
Okay, shall I post it in the chat?
Yes, yes, sure, sure. Madhuri, what is your status?
I'm here for 2 minutes.
Sorry?
In 2 minutes, I will.
Sure. Mangesh, wait, don't post. So on Monday and Tuesday, you would be having a MCQ test on all the topics covered so far and practical test on the map reduce part. Okay. And till now, I have not given you any assignment, right?
We give an assignment for that word count and yesterday on Scoop.
Okay.
Yesterday you posted it on Hive, but we are covering it today.
Sorry.
Yesterday's assignment which you have posted, it is on Hive,
No,
but we covered yesterday.
it is Scoop Hive both. It is one lab
Probably.
and it is not actually assignment. It is your lab work, Scoop Hive together. The lab consists of Scoop Hive together because what we are doing is we are taking data from Scoop that we took yesterday and we are importing it, sorry, and we are querying it using Hive. So that's why it is together.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so anyways, the number of assignments that you would be having or number of things or tasks that you need to do is uh, configure your cluster, then perform word count program. Okay, Mangesh has posted. Okay, then Okay, this Flume Pig is provided that we complete it today. Okay, Flume Pig is provided that we complete it today, only then. Else you will be having all these things that you need to perform. Okay, so both have you posted, both of you have posted. Okay, so Mangesh has given. Okay, so what is Mangesh saying? That use map function to read HDFS ka data, store data in array. Okay, good. Get the third index. Okay. Check if it is greater than 1000. Okay. If yes, then read the second index of the array for the same record. Very good. And show the result. Perfect. Madhuri has said prepare a string ABC in which you'll get file contents of employee data.txt. Good. Then you'll form an array by splitting ABC by /n. So you'll get all the records in the array. Good. Then you'll get a string out of array which would be multi-dimensional. Okay. Then you will perform a for in which you will take all the I, okay, count of array, okay, I plus plus, okay. So you will iterate through all the records of in the array, okay. Then you will have a string called a string array in which you will split, okay, good. You will split the array based on tabs, and then you will use array push, your string array function, then your string array ka variable, and you will map it, then you will sort it. Okay. So Madhuri, till here it is perfect. I did not understand this one. You're getting only the first element and the second element, not taking the zeroth element. That's okay because zeroth element is an ID. But then we are not checking for the condition and we are not fetching the final output. So I can say that, till here, this is your map function, right?
Yeah.
And this should have been your reduce function. But here you have just sorted it. Right, here you have sorted it, but actually what should have been there is instead of sorting it, you just check the, see here your string array is complete. So now you can just check the multi-dimensional array as Mangesh has written here. So this would come in your reduce part. Okay, good, good. Both of you good. Well done. So this is not assignment. This is task. So today I would be sharing you two problem statements and two set of data. Two problem statements and two set of data based on which you have to prepare MapReduce programs. The solution of that I won't be sharing it with you. I would only be sharing the problem statement and the data set. Now what you have to do is you have to write a MapReduce program, you have to execute it, and for every step you have to attach your screenshots. So you have a word count ka program ka lab, right? Lab manual. So you know how it looks like that for every step you have a screenshot wherever applicable. You have mentioned the steps to be performed every junction of your execution. So same ways you have to do it right from taking the data into your HDFS till you execute and get the output. Everything you have to mention step by step inside the document of yours that you will be creating for this assignment. So there would be basically two MapReduce programs. For the two problem statements and two data sets that would be shared with you. Okay, and by today evening, I'll be sharing this as well as this as well as this. Apart from this three, everything else written on the screen right now, which requires sharing from my side, would be shared immediately after the class. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. And once you guys are done with all this task and assignment, then we would be going ahead with the assignments for your ecosystem tools as well, for Pig and Hive and Flume and Scoop. So there will be assignments for this as well that we would be taking care in the next part. Okay, now for this task, I personally feel that Monday should be the deadline, but still, because you'll have to prepare for the test as well. Mm, so I'll give you a collaborative deadline for both of them. So you plan how you want to go ahead. So 24th evening would be the deadline for submitting this assignment as well as completing all these tasks. Okay. So if we are not completing this today, we would at least be completing one of them. So no issues. And the next part we'll be doing it on Monday before we get into the test. So still you will get 3 days for completing either of this, whichever is remaining today. Okay. So all of this needs to be submitted by Thursday evening so that I give you the next set of tasks. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. The deadline is okay. If you feel the deadline is too small, then intimate me right now because once it is decided, it won't be changed. Both of you are okay with this,
Yeah.
Mangesh?
Yeah, I'm actually stuck up at word count program. Somehow my
Yep.
word count program is not executing.
You are getting an error?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll make you the presenter, share your screen, and let's see what your problem is. Okay, one thing. Whenever you guys are having any error or whenever you guys are having any issue in any of doing any of these except assignments, for any lab work or any task, if you have any sort of problem, please make sure that you don't spend lot of time in try and error, try and error, try and error. The immediate next session after you have faced an issue, do intimate me so that we have a look at it in the session itself. Okay, if it's a small problem that can be easily identified, then we'll solve it in the session itself. If it's a problem that requires some work or some look into, then we will have it after the session. But please do intimate me as soon as you get the error in the immediate class after you got an error. Yeah, Mangesh, I have made you the presenter. Please share your screen. Okay, so your jar file is not exported. Can you go to your wisdom, this third tab at the bottom? Can you go to the third tab at the bottom? Yeah, third tab at the bottom. No, no, inside your, yeah, this one, yeah. Click.
It's very slow.
Okay, okay, no issues, no issues. It is because you have the browser as well as the terminal and the Eclipse running. That's why it is slow. So
Okay.
try to avoid opening browser and Eclipse at the same time.
Okay.
Or
Somehow this machine, I kept it in suspended mode overnight.
that's okay.
So whatever steps you are given in the that uh, PDF copy, na,
Hmm.
only thing I didn't follow is copying that programs into the workspace folder. That I did manually rather than using a command.
That's okay. That's perfect.
That's the only change I made.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see. You have missed out something because this is clearly saying that your jar file is not available in your directory.
Yeah, I tried this exercise twice. In the first phase, I was facing two errors. The error was about user path, that user directory path,
Mm-hmm.
and when we add the external jar files from the Hadoop and MapReduce directory,
Mm-hmm.
it was still not clearing those errors. So somehow I could not export it as a compile and export it as a Java project.
You might have missed some of the jar files. So how do you overcome this error? How did you overcome this error?
I cleared off the folders and did that activity again, copy pasting.
You might have missed some of the jar files because that is why you want. That is, why you were still getting the errors. Okay, what is happening? It should not take this much time.
Not sure.
Okay, restart it. Go to system.
Okay,
No, no, not from there. Go to system. No, 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 not from there.
it's not happening anything.
Okay, so reset it from up itself. Yes, from there. Reset.
Or
Reset. Madhuri, have you configured your cluster?
Not yet.
So, uh,
I'm doing it today.
शुभ मुहूर्त कधी आहे? आज आहे का? ओके. So she is very religious. So she सिर्फ फक्त शुभ मुहूर्तालाच करते, है ना?
माझा कालचा होता मार्गशीर्ष गुरुवार.
तिचा उपवास होता ना म्हणून तिने काल काय केलं नाही. माधुरी उपवास केली होतीस का?
नाही.
शाबास.
कशासाठी असतो उपवास?
सॉरी,
कशासाठी असतो?
मार्गशीर्ष गुरुवार महालक्ष्मीसाठी असतोय.
नाही का?
उदयच्या काय म्हणतात त्याला, फॉर अ लॉंग लिव्ड लाईफ ऑफ युअर हजबंड.
अच्छा.
नाही त्याच्यासाठी
आपण
नसतो.
करूया.
नाही त्याच्यासाठी नसतो. फॉर गेटिंग मनी.
नाही तुला.
My mother does it always, and yesterday I forgot to call her. So today I'm going to get a lot of scoldings. Every year I call her in the morning itself before she goes to the puja. Because when I was at school, I used to stay home, na. That time, no matter what happens, she used to never conduct the, read that pothi without me there.
Uh-huh.
So when I left, she used to wait for me to call her, and then she used to go and read that pothi. But later on, she left that habit because I never used to call her on time. But at least I used to call her on the every Thursday. But yesterday I completely forgot.
You're the only son?
Only son. I have a I don't have a daughter. I have a sister. Elder
Okay.
when she's married.
Okay.
But she's not religious. I was the one
Mhm.
who was really. She was like the bad boy, and I was like the good girl.
Okay.
Actually, she is the first daughter of our family, complete family.
Uh-huh.
So that's why she was
Okay.
always kept at a high level. So she was always treated as a boy.
Yeah, that happens.
High priority girl she is. So whatever my mom had dreams with a daughter, she fulfilled it from me.
Mhm.
So your wife might be having a fast yesterday, right?
Both of us were having a fast.
Oh, good. So this is we love money. I've heard that Pothiwala story so many times. I still remember, the characters, Shambhala, her mother,
Mhm.
and most of the part of the story I still remember. From childhood, I'm listening it always. If you have not gone through that story, Madhuri, do go through it. It's a very interesting one.
Okay.
The importance of this Thursdays.
This is too much slow today.
Yeah, Mangesh, try one thing. What is the RAM of your machine?
It's 2 GB.
So increasing the RAM of this virtual machine won't be good for us. Okay, let's do one thing. We'll get started, Mangesh. And
Okay.
once you're done with opening it, go to the
Mm-hmm.
home wisdom
Mm-hmm.
and then, interrupt me and we'll keep in what is happening with you.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so I'll delete this. Possibly we don't need this. Okay, just a second. Okay, so possibly if we were to write a MapReduce program for querying this particular file or for finding any particular information from this file, then it would have involved some complex coding or some simple coding if the query was simple. But yes, if it would have been a complex stuff to be done, then it would have been really, really complex MapReduce program. And even if at the basic level, if you see from your logics, then it is still very complex as compared to your simple SQL statements, right? Which would have been as simple as select star from employees, wherein or select name from employee table, wherein salary is greater than 1000. So it would have been as simple as a single liner command if it would have been an SQL. But being a MapReduce program, you have to go around with 7-8 steps of first mapping all these elements as three different fields. Like Madhuri has very, given it step by step that first making sure that you are counting it record wise. Once you're completed counting it record wise, then making it sure that you are separating it as field wise every record into a multi-dimensional array, and then as given by Mangesh, then you have to compare the second field of that array and the third field, and whenever it is more than 1000, you have to fetch the second field which will give you the name. While doing the mapping, when in the map phase, when you are separating it field wise, that time you have to make sure that you map it as well, that the second field is name and third field is salary. Okay, so all this would have to be done if there was no SQL ka interface on top of HDFS or on top of Hadoop, and that's why what we have is Hive. Okay, so now what we will do is, first of all, we will go in our Hive ka shell and we will write a command. So this command will look something like this. It will say create a table in Hive called as emp underscore table, which would be having the definitions as id, which would be, let's say, an int, then your name, which would be, let's say, a string, and then salary, which would again be int. Okay, now this is your normal SQL ka command. But in addition to this, when it comes to Hive, you have something else as well. It would be specifying that the row format is delimited and the fields, why I'm writing it in caps, row format delimited, and the fields are terminated by /t, and it is stored as, the data is stored as a text file. Just a second. Okay, so this is what you will write from the Hive ka shell. Now, normally when you write something like this in your SQL, what is your expectation? That a blank table gets created in the database, right? But here we don't have any database. So what will happen? Once you execute this command, nothing more than a table or anything won't be created. But what will happen is inside your Hive ka meta store, you will get employee underscore table ka metadata. That's it. So this information about employee underscore table would be stored, will get stored inside your Hive ka meta store as employee underscore tables metadata. Clear so far?
Yeah.
Okay, then next up what you will do is, after this is successfully done, you will write another command, because now your assumption is that an empty table has been created. So you have to feed some data into that. So what you will do is you will write one more command. You will say load data which is present in path. So your path is /user /wisdom /employee data dot txt, right? And you will say dump it inside table emp underscore table. So this is the next command that you would be writing. After executing this command, your assumption would be that this data should get loaded inside the table that you created. But actually you have not created any table. Only this meta definition has got stored. So after executing this command, what will happen? This data or this data file will get cut from here and will get pasted inside warehouse. This data file will get cut from here and will get pasted inside the data warehouse, and then a link would be created between these two. A link would be created between these two. This link will define that whenever you want to talk about the skeleton, then this is the skeleton. Whenever you want to talk about the body, then this is the body. Or whenever you want to talk about body, this is the body, and whenever you want to talk about the skeleton, this is the skeleton. In your technical sense, whenever you want to talk about metadata of employee table or definition or schema of employee table, then this is the schema. And whenever you want to look inside the data of your employee underscore table, then this is your data. So if you are doing any DDL statements, if you're doing any DDL statements, then it will make use of this information. And if you will do any DML statements, then it will make use of this information. So actually you won't be able to modify any data, but still. What is DDL and DML? What is DDL and DML statements? Your voice is too low, Madhuri. Yeah, not audible, not audible. Try to be a bit louder. Not audible.
These are new terms for me, but seems to be data definition and data modification.
Wow, good. DDL is data definition language and DML is data manipulation language. So basically these are two categories of your SQL queries. So whenever you want to create a table or modify the structure of the table, then you use statements that come under the category as DDL statements. And whenever you would be playing with the data, that time all the commands of SQL that you use, they are called as DML statements. Data manipulation, and the first one was data definition language. And SQL is your structured query language. Okay, so this is understood that whenever you execute a load command, what happens is the data is cut from the base location and dumped inside user hive warehouse, and a link is created between the metastore and the data. So this data is still in HDFS, but instead of being in the general HDFS, it is now in Hive's HDFS. Is this clear? Or should I give an example on this?
One question here.
Yeah,
When you say the data is cut from HDFS into warehouse,
cut from
how,
specific HDFS to, sorry, general HDFS to Hive's HDFS.
right, and data should be present in the similar fashion like the blocks.
Yes, yes, yes.
So in case we are having say 3 data nodes,
Mm-hmm.
so whatever definitions we are having for the mappings of those blocks, those we also redefined.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And on a logical level, it is like this is a place where I stay, okay? And this is my family. This is a place where I stay, and this is my family. So this big house is of the owner HDFS. My owner's name is HDFS, and I stay in one room which is rented by me. One room from his house which is rented by me, and this is owner ka daughter. Okay, this is owner's daughter. So in due course of time, I get married to her. So what happens? She leaves her room and she comes and starts staying in my room. Though it is her father's house itself, but now she leaves her father's general house and comes and stays specifically with me in my house, which is still a part of her father's house. And a links get created between her and my family, saying that whenever people will ask about the daughter-in-law of this family, then she's the one who would be pointed. And whenever somebody asks about in-laws of this girl, then these people would be pointed.
Example.
One more example.
Example, I said.
No, I didn't heard the suffix prefix of before example. Both the
Great
times.
example.
Okay, great example. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So next up, after doing all this, if you write a command saying select name from employee underscore table where salary is greater than 1000. So then what will happen? Then your backend process starts. That this query will go to the process compiler. It will get compiled for the syntaxes and everything. Then it will go to the processor. Then the processor will go dig deep in. First of all, the processor will split this into two parts. One is your actual query and second one is your argument. So here name and whatever is following after the where clause and the name of the table, these things would be your arguments. Okay, so basically the query which or the format of query which the processor would be having is select star from star where star. So the star and star and star would get replaced by field name, table name, and condition. Okay, and your actual command would be select star from star where star. Then your processor will go in the libraries and find out for a MapReduce program which resembles to select star from star where star, and then once he gets it, he will give this arguments that the field name is name, table name is employee underscore table, and the where condition is salary should be greater than 1000. Okay, then what will happen is when the jar file is getting executed or when the MapReduce program is getting executed, it will use the data which is present under employee underscore data.txt, and for the mappings that you did of creating an array and splitting it into a multi-dimensional array and everything, for all that the definition required would be taken from the Hiveka metastore, and then you will then all the processing will happen at the backend, and then you will get this result. So is this clear?
Yeah.
Okay, any doubts in this? Okay, good. So let's start our lab. Can
The out.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Then one question. The output files or the result of this query will be stored in again HDFS, right? It's
No. The
in
result
general
won't be
HDFS.
stored. The result won't be stored. The result would just be displayed to you.
But there should be some file at the background.
Sorry?
There should be some file at the background.
The file is that of yours. What do you call? Uh, Text file of yours which you have in the warehouse right now. For the output, there is no file. If
Okay.
you want, if you want to store the output, then you'll have to create another this thing. What do you call? Table and store it inside that, or you have to explicitly mention that you have to store this output in a file. You would be having this a part of your advanced lab
Okay.
of storing the result into another table and storing the result into a file in HDFS. But basically, on a default level, it is just executed and the output is just displayed to you on the console. Because this is what SQL does, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now anybody out of you, can you tell me the path from where I can find server log ka data which we imported yesterday from the database, MySQL ka database? Yesterday we imported MySQL ke database say the data of a table called as server log. So what is the path where it is dumped inside HDFS? Oh, come on, guys. We have seen the data yesterday and forget about seeing the data. It is very easy. None of you know. Neither of you can answer this. Madhuri, Mangesh,
No, can't remember.
there's nothing to remember. This is a logical question, not a memory test. Madhuri, you guys are really going to get one if you don't perform nicely in the test. Okay, let's make it interesting. If you get 80% and above in the test, you will get, it can be anything, huh? But it would be a goodie that would be delivered to your place. And if you fail, then you tell me. This is the first punishment that you would be getting, so let it be to you what you want. Tell me. If you fail, then come on, at least tell me this. If you fail, then what is the punishment that you would prefer? I have n number of punishment ideas with me. Should I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. If you fail, then Okay. So if you get 80% plus, you'll get a goodie from Wisdom Sprouts. And if you fail, then you will have to prepare explanatory videos for any three distinct topics covered so far and submit them before Thursday evening. Good. So the punishment would be anyways learning work for you and would be used as a promotional stuff from me. So win-win situation for both of us. So normally what I do in my other batches, and you will also get this punishment, don't worry, that I ask students to prepare programs and prepare labs, advanced labs or something. So basically the project that you would be, not project, the test that you are going to get is prepared by some student. The as a punishment for him was to write a map reduce ka program, and that is what you would be getting as test. So similarly, tomorrow for next test, agar if you fail, you will also be preparing something which would be again used by me for as a punishment to somebody else. Okay, so good is the punishment is good, right?
Yeah.
So in other words, if you pass, you'll get a goodie from my side. If you fail, then I'll get a goodie from your side. And this is my goodie videos. Any problems with the punishments, Madhuri? Mangesh has already said a yes, so no issues.
Hmm.
Sorry?
Good.
Good, na? Okay. And there would also be punishment for not submitting the task and assignments by 24th of evening. And that punishment would be surprise. You don't submit it, then I'll give the punishment. And how you have to submit it, you can just upload it on the dashboard or you can possibly upload it on the mail itself. Okay, but make sure that you put everything in one zip file. So document 1, document 2, document 3, document 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in one single zip file and submit it. Okay, let's see how much we complete out of this. But whatever is completed, that should be put under separate documents in one zip file and that should be submitted so that it becomes easy for me to carry on to revise check. Okay, so guys, yesterday while discussing Scoop, we very clearly discussed that okay, not written, but very clearly discussed that once your data is uploaded, it will go in HDFS under your default directory, wherein a folder would be created with the same name as of the table that is being imported. So first of all, let us and let me check whether we know what is the default directory. Okay, so firstly, tell me this. Can you tell me the full path for this test once it's created?
It's user wisdom test.
Perfect. So we know the default directory, right? Which is user wisdom. So the server underscore log is stored in user slash wisdom slash server underscore log. Uske under we have three files which would be underscore success underscore log and a part wala file. And that part wala file would be actual data. So now if I go to the browser and see my data, So it's user wisdom server underscore log underscore success underscore log and part hyphen m hyphen 5 times 0, and this is your data. So this is your path for the data that you imported. Clear? Okay. So now what you have to do is, before you can actually go ahead and start working with Hive, Hive is already installed. So in the package that of Cloudera that we have installed in this machine of Hadoop, we already have the Hive wala part. So what was required for installing Hive was just issuing a simple command, which was yum install Hive. From that, Hive is already installed. So you still need to configure it. So while configuring it, you have to make sure that you created MapReduce specific directories while configuring your Hadoop, right? And you gave proper permissions. Similarly, here you have to create the user Hive warehouse or a directory and give proper permissions to it, as well as you have to give proper permissions to your metastore. So first we will create the directory. So I'll say sudo -u hdfs hadoop fs make directory user hive warehouse. Okay, now can you tell me the reason why I'm using sudo -u hdfs now, whereas yesterday when we were creating a directory, or even now when I showed you to create how to create a directory test, that time I directly wrote hadoop fs make directory test, but now I am writing complete thing sudo -u hdfs hadoop fs make directory. Why?
As new user were created to give as the admin to give full permission to that folder.
Right,
So use the sudo.
perfect. In more precise way, now you are using sudo -u hdfs because you are not creating this folder in the default directory which is owned by this user. You are creating this directory in general HDFS. You are not creating this directory in the default location which is owned by this guy that we did during configuration, that we changed the owner and made him as the owner. Right? So we are not creating it in that location. We are creating it in a new location in your general HDFS. That's why we have to take the permissions from the sudo user, or we can say that you have to take permissions from the admin. So Wisdom will create this on behalf of the internal user HDFS. Okay, so this is created. Next up, when we created our temp wala directory, that time we gave the permission 777, which is read, write, execute, to user, group, as well as others. Now we will change the permissions and say that give to the group permissions of writing. Give to the group permissions of writing on temp. So all the groups are available in this machine now will have access to this temp wala thing. All the groups basically inside your HDFS or Hadoop, that will. So there are two groups now. One is your user, two users basically. One is your user Hive and one is your user Wisdom. So giving it to the group means giving it to both Hive as well as giving it to training. So that's why here we will directly specify that give the write wala permissions to your group. So reading and executing still will be with your users, others, as well as your this thing group, but the write wallet permission now goes to group. So whenever your user Hive as well as your user Wisdom would be working as a group, that time they'll have permissions for accessing the temp directory and the write permissions. This is clear? The difference between 777 and G plus W. 777 means giving read, write, execute ka permission to your user, means this guy, as well as group means wherever it works with any other user, as well as others who are not part of the user list, like your internal users of HDFS and MapRead. Giving a permission to the group specifically means you are saying that only when the people work with group, that time give them the permissions of whatever follows here. Clear?
If Jayant, if we are given read, write, execute command to the user, then why we need to a particular folder?
Okay. No. We have not given read, write, execute command to the user. Yesterday, last time what we did was we gave on this folder itself read, write, execute ka command to this user. But now what we are doing is we want this user also to have some access on the temp folder.
Okay.
That's why we are considering him as a group and just giving him write ka permissions on this folder.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Then after doing this, what you have to do is you have to change the permissions on warehouse as well and the ownership of warehouse as well. So you will say sudo -u hdfs hadoop fs change mode, give group को write का permissions on user hive warehouse, give group का permissions to the group, give group permissions of write on the directory user hive warehouse. Next up, you have to change the ownership of the warehouse. So you will just say change owner, make my wisdom the owner of user hive warehouse so that he can do anything he wants in there. Because the cut paste which is going to happen requires that the wisdom is operating from his default directory to a new directory. So the new directory where he is dumping the data, even that should be his directory. So we are giving ownership to him on the warehouse as well, so that he can easily cut the data from user wisdom and dump it inside user hive without asking for permission from anybody, because this is something that is going to happen internally. So when it happens internally, you cannot supply this permissions using sudo -u. Okay, so the last step in the configurations is changing the permissions on your metastore. So now observe here I'm not using minus change mode, I'm not using -u hdfs, I'm not using the keyword hadoop fs. The reason is the parity bit is not there, forget about that. The reason is that the warehouse is located, sorry, the metastore is located in the Linux file system and not Hadoop file system. Because metastore is located in Linux file system and not Hadoop file system, that's why I am not using -u hdfs hadoop fs. And while executing a command in Linux, you don't use hyphen. That's why it is only change mode. The parity bit is not there because we don't want to keep this restrictions that the delete can be done only by the root. Clear?
Yeah, clear.
Papa, your son is awake now.
Learning Hadoop.
Good. So by the time he completes his engineering or graduation, he would be an expert in Hadoop. Okay. After this is done, After all your configurations are done, give me a minute. Not a minute, a half a second, I'll be back. Okay. So now what we have to do is we have to enter in our Hive ka shell. So I'll just type the command Hive. Now this takes us inside your Hive ka shell. Now here you can start writing your SQLK command specific to syntax of Hive. So we'll say create table server underscore log underscore table, which will have the schema as ID would be int. No, what we have is only two things, right? So we don't have ID.
Continue.
So we have country as string and
IP.
IP address as string. Okay. Then we will say that the row format is delimited and the FIELDS fields are terminated by tab, and the data is stored as a text file. Create table server underscore log underscore table country string IP address string row format as delimited is not there, is not there. Row format delimited, fields terminated by /t, stored as a text file. Okay, fields का spelling is wrong. FIELDS fields. Oh yeah, guys, just give me a second. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So we have created a table. So now if I do show tables, we can see that our table server underscore log underscore table is created. But now if I do this, select star from server underscore log underscore table, then we don't have any data into it. It is blank because we have not yet put any data into it. Okay. So now what's next that we would be doing is we would be loading data. So we will say load data, which is in path. So I've already copied the path, so I'll just paste it. Slash user slash wisdom slash server underscore log path hyphen m hyphen 5 times 0 into my table server underscore log underscore table. Server underscore log underscore table. Okay, so it has executed it successfully. Now I'll say select the same command that we executed yesterday from the workbench. Select country, count of 1 from server underscore log underscore table. Okay, before doing this, let me show you the transition from user wisdom to user hive. So user wisdom server underscore log and the part file is gone. User hive warehouse, the name of the table, the folder is created by the name of the table, and here is your data. Got the transition after the load command?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'll say select country from server log table group by country. So here starts your MapReduce job with ID 0001. And this is your this thing. This is your output.
Jayant,
Yeah,
the commands are case sensitive in Hive.
the commands are not case sensitive, but some properties are case sensitive.
Like,
Like the row format delimited wala property that we wrote, that is case sensitive.
okay,
Okay. Baki select and everything you can write in small letters as well as capital letters, no issues. Okay. So this is your output. So in your lab assignment or lab task that you are getting, you would be having commands to make sure that So in the lab manuals that you'll be getting for advanced Hive, you'll also be getting commands which will enable the header option for you. So now in the table you already have an header. The table that you created in Hive, it has header, but if you observe here, then that header information is not displayed. Only the result is displayed. But you have commands, you have properties that you have to set, which will display the uh, header information as well whenever you run the query. Clear?
Okay.
Okay. So this was a small sample of your querying with Hive or working with Hive. And this completes our first lab of the ecosystem of importing a data using Scoop and dumping it inside your HDFS, then creating a table with Hive and querying it. Any doubts in this? Any doubts in what we did so far? Any doubts in what we did so far?
Yeah, okay so far.
Okay so far. Why? Okay.
We need to practice, and during practice there might be some queries.
Lot of. During practice you will go through lot of queries. Okay. So you have whole week now from here. Practice nicely, practice hard, and make sure that you are done with this properly. Okay, so now next up, oh, it's already 8:45. Okay, so now we'll not get into Hive or sorry, Flume or Pig. What we will rather do is we'll talk about one more ecosystem tool, or forget it. Even instead of talking about the ecosystem tool, let me tell you a small problem. My personal front, we just have 15 minutes, so no point of getting into an ecosystem tool, because anyways we won't be able to complete. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Okay, so Hive and Scoop is clear. I will go ahead, but will not get into an ecosystem tool. I do have a small problem or a small story kind of a stuff to be told. Not story, basically a problem. Let's see whether you can give me a better solution for this. So it's a completely personal problem, but we have time so we can discuss it, no issues. So, I work as a freelancer. So I do get freelancer trainer as well as consultant. So I do get training ke assignment as well as I get consultancy ke assignments. So whenever I get consultancy ke assignments, they are from clients from US or Germany, so or UK or Middle East. So normally what these clients do is they give me a set of programs and they give me a data set. I just need to execute those programs on that data set. That's it. And if any errors or anything is there, then I have to try to solve the errors and execute it properly. Okay. And when I get training assignments, I have to complete day training assignment or whole long day training assignment. So I have to go to the client's place the whole day and I have to deliver trainings there. But sometimes what happens, both these things clash. Like it happened last week. that I was having training assignments in a college wherein I had to go from 10 o'clock till evening 6 o'clock. Okay. At the same time, at the same time, I got a consultancy assignment as well from three different clients with deadline of 1 day, that I have to complete some set of commands on some data set, and let's say give to them by today evening. I got it today morning and I have to submit it by today evening. But unfortunately, I have to go for a training today, so I won't be available. So this happened last week. So this was a big problem for me. But luckily, what had happened was my younger brother had visited me. My small brother had visited my place, so I could take his help. Now, talking about these commands, you might think, "Ki, why not, why didn't I do this? That instead of getting in all this mess, I could have easily initiated all these commands and I could have left, right?" But the problem is that these commands are interdependent. The output of one command is taken as input by the second command. So I cannot start all the command executions at once and go. So the normally the client, how it he does, he submits the task to me like this. So let's say he'll say the name of the client is XYZ and the command number one is something related to MapReduce, or let me write the command that would give a clear picture to you about my problem. It is Hadoop jar word count wc.jar wc input and output. Then the command 2 is create table in Hive by name s underscore t having some definition, blah blah definition. Okay. And command 3 is that load data from user XYZ output part file into table s underscore t. This was the assignment from one of the clients. Similarly, there were two more clients which gave me the assignments. So name of this client was ABC. He gave me command 1 was something related to MapReduce. Command 2 was something related to Pig. Command 3 was something related to Hive. And command 4 was something related to, let's say, Flume. Then there was another client named PQR, which gave command 1 to MapReduce, command 2 to Hive, or command 1 to related to Pig, then Hive, and then let's say Scoop. Okay, so I had got this like this, and every command was dependent on the previous command. So this command is not dependent, but this command is dependent on this command. So there was no option of starting the execution of all these commands at once and then getting ahead. So this was not the option that was there with me. So what I did, I called in my younger brother who had visited me for a stay. I told him that do one thing. This is the command terminal. I told him that, okay, this is the virtual machine. This is the command terminal. All you have to do is you have to write the programs write the commands one by one here. So write the first command, wait for its execution. If it gets successfully executed, you will get a message saying success. Then you can move on to the next command. If you get an error or something, you will get a red color message saying error. If you get any error, then all you need to do is write somewhere that for client XYZ, let's say for command number 2, I got an error, and then forget about this assignment and move on to the next assignment. Suppose for this assignment again you get an error, then write for client PQR, I got error on, let's say, command number 3, and then forget this assignment. Okay, now at this point, my younger brother doesn't know what is Hadoop. My younger brother doesn't know what is MapReduce, Pig, Hive, Flume, or Scoop, or any of the other stuff. My younger brother doesn't know what does it mean by the command he is executing. He doesn't know what to do after he gets an error. He's just been said that, okay, once you get error, forget that assignment and go to the next one, because you won't be able to proceed in that assignment as they are interdependent. So I gave all these instructions to him along with these 3 assignments and left for the day. Before I came in back, he had successfully done all the things that was required to be done. And he had also mentioned proper comments saying that, okay, for client XYZ, for client ABC, for client PQR, all the commands are executed. This was one problem. Another problem that I normally face is some of the consultancy clients, they have a schedule that every afternoon, let's say 3 o'clock, execute a MapReduce program or any Hive, Pig, or any program on our data set. So again, I have to make sure that every afternoon 3 o'clock I am at my place with internet connection available and execute this command. So instead of that, what I have done is I have told my brother who stays with me that every afternoon 3 o'clock, just come to the terminal. The command is already written, hit enter, and the command will get executed. So now my life has become easy. So this was my scenario. You got my problem? Hello?
Yeah, understood.
So can you suggest me a better solution for this?
Introduction to Uzi.
Okay. So yes. So my younger brother is nobody else than Uzi. My younger brother is nobody else than Uzi, and this whatever assignment I was talking about, this is nothing other than your workflow of Uzi written in XML language. This is nothing but workflow of Uzi written in XML language. And what do you have inside this is two important things or two parts. One is a control flow node, which will give sense to the entire workflow as if naming the workflow. Okay. And at the end, you will be closing the control flow. Control flow node. Node is not supposed to be written, just control flow. Okay. And then every action is triggered under a action node. So we'll say action. Let's say its name is command 1, and this is the actual action. So close action tag. Then again open action tag. Give your next command. Close action tag. Then again open third action tag. and close action tag. And this is called as your Uzika workflow, wherein this is your control flow node, which defines the workflow, and this is your action node, where actual actions are triggered. Okay, and the person who takes care of all this, the person who manages all this, is called as your Uzi, which is nothing but a workflow scheduler. So what Uzi can do is two things. Uzi can sequentially run a list of commands of anything related to Hadoop, may it be Spark, Impala, Mahout, or the basic ones like Hive, Pig, Scoop, or the core one like MapReduce program. It can do anything out of this because all it needs to do is execute it. Everything else should, the library and everything should be already there for that specific ecosystem tool. Means if you're talking for Hive, Hive should already be configured. If you're talking about MapReduce, then MapReduce should already be configured. It only knows to execute it. It only knows to execute it. As if we are writing on the command terminal and hitting enter. Same thing it will be doing. Okay, so it can execute Pig, Hive, MapReduce, any type of job. It will execute the task sequentially, one after the another, or I can say one after the successful execution of another. Okay, and the boxes that I can see right now, these boxes are called as the Uzi workflows, which are written in XML. This is about your Uzi. One more thing Uzi can do is it can act like a cron job, okay, like an alarm, wherein if you have given him the configurations that every 3 o'clock you should be running this command, then it would be doing it regularly without your intervention, just like a cron job or like a scheduled script. So this Uzi is nothing but a workflow scheduler. Clear? A very small introduction to Uzi, and that's what we'll be having, a very small introduction to Uzi. Only the theory part.
Yeah.
The practical part
Yeah,
I would
one.
be, yeah, just a second, Mangesh. Yeah. The practical part is something that you would be having as a part in your project. Yeah. Yeah, Mangesh.
Suppose second block, if you are shifting from command one, which is MapReduce, into
Mm-hmm.
command two, say for example Hive.
Okay.
Okay, in that case, whatever things we have typed in, like we need to just press Hive,
Mm-hmm.
then it goes into that Hive shell.
Mm-hmm.
So those commands we need to do it as a separate command in this
No, no,
workflow.
no, 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 no. You just need to specify that it is a Hive ka job. You just need to
Okay,
specify that it is a Hive ka command, and the command is this. Scoop will internally take care, Uzi will internally take care of submitting inside the Hive shell. So it will not open a Hive shell, but it knows how to under say submit it.
okay.
We
So
are getting
what
into
are the
Hive.
other? Yeah,
We are getting into the Hive shell because that is a way to externally interact with the server of Hive. But Uzi being an internal path, it can internally interact with the Hive ka server. So no need for him to start the Hive ka shell.
okay.
Okay, you are
So
saying
what are
something?
the other prerequisites?
Other?
Prerequisites.
Nothing. The prerequisite is only one, that whatever command you are specifying in here, if you are supposed to do it individually, then the command should be such that you are not getting an error. Means the
Okay.
command should be syntax oriented or syntax bound and error free. So if I'm talking about Hadoop jar, word count input output, then word count.jar should be present. Input folder should be present. So
No,
only
I'm asking in terms of an architecture. Like for any ecosystem, we do have a shell, then its own command library and the argument OLA structure. So, is there any other prerequisites or
nothing.
architectural?
Architectural point
Okay.
of view, Oozie will just be installed. So Oozie is nothing but a service which will get installed. And this service ke liye you would be writing normal XML key workflows. So you would be creating
Mm-hmm.
an XML ka document which would be having this control flow node. Okay, architectural point of view, as far as the XML creation is or workflow creation is concerned, there is nothing, no requirement. But as far as we get inside the XML ka workflow, then two things are required: the control flow node and the action node. Control flow node is which will define the workflow, and action node is where the actual action would be triggered. Apart from this, there is nothing new. You would be executing the XML same way as you're executing the normal XML file. Same way you would be executing the workflow as well. There are some configurations which needs to be done before getting Oozie in place so that it understands what is your Hadoop cluster and everything. That's it.
Yeah, but say for example, these are the three jobs. Now these three jobs are from three different customers. So
No.
definitely,
So that would be three different XML files.
no. My question is, in a cluster, the data from all those three different clients and their server should be available.
Right. So that's what I am saying, right? That the command should be such that if you execute it manually on the cluster, it should not produce an error.
Okay.
If it is producing an error when you are doing it, so it is sure to produce an error when Oozie is doing it.
Right.
So the
Means
command.
whatever problem statement you have just introduced us,
Mhm.
this is from three different customers or clients.
Right,
Clients in the sense the companies.
right.
So the data from all those three different companies should be available, which is hypothetical.
No, why it should be hypothetical?
Now, where is the server or the cluster definition? Because suppose I'm having three different customers,
Mm-hmm.
so the data from these three different customers will be on a different server
No. Right now we are assuming that
cluster.
the data is present in one single Hadoop cluster itself.
Okay,
If
that's
that,
the prerequisite.
okay, you can see it. See, the data should be there, right? That's what I said, that
Yeah,
input should be there, word count.jar should be there.
yeah.
So I said, right, that while executing this command, what is the requirement? That wc.jar should be available. Input folder should be available.
Yeah. Okay.
And moreover, Hadoop should be configured properly. So for executing this command, your Hive should be configured properly. For executing this command, this data should be available. Sorry, this data should be available.
Yeah.
Okay. So clear
Okay.
now?
Yeah.
Okay. So Madhuri, clear?
Yeah.
So this was your Uzi, and this what is given is Uzi ka workflow. Okay, so from this task of yours, I would be removing two tasks. Pick भी नहीं करना है, flume भी नहीं करना है. Only you have to do it till hive and scoop. Okay, so this I would be sharing. This I would be sharing. Okay, yeah, that's it. So that's it for today, and we'll meet on Monday directly now. So have a nice weekend ahead. Practice nicely. Make sure that you are prepared for this. All the documents and everything, max to max by tonight, you will get everything. Max to max by tonight, you will get everything.
Uh, do you have time? Means, do you need to look into that problem?
Yeah. Sure. Madhuri, you can call off. In case you are getting late, then you can call off or you can stay.
I have to.
Yeah, if you are getting late, then you can surely leave. So if you have time, you wait, else you can leave. No issues. You can always check the recording for what we did.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, chalo, bye bye.
And guys.
Bye.
What's happened now? I don't know what's happening today.
It is too slow.
Okay. So what I did is I copied from programs the word count wala folder
Okay.
and
See,
put it
see.
here.
See, it is wordcount.jar is under workspace. It should not be under workspace. It should be directly inside Wisdom.
Okay.
It should be in
So
the home directory of your local user. So just move it there.
shall I cut it from here?
Yeah, just cut it and paste it. Not in
In?
desktop. In this folder itself. By triple E.
Right place.
Okay, now just show me the program in workspace. Workspace with the program that you have. The workspace with the program you have, show me that. Open your workspace.
Shall I run the program now?
No. Open the workspace and show me the program. Now, if you're doing anything on the screen, I'm not able to see any changes on the screen. Hello, Mangesh, am I audible? Mangesh? Hello, Mangesh? Mangesh?
Yeah,
Okay, I'm audible, right?
yeah, you're audible. Hello.
Yeah, Mangesh.
So whether I'm doing correctly?
Yeah. Do not cancel it. Let it
So
happen. You might have pressed some button, so that's why it has happened. But it does not cancel. It will happen. Wait. Let it happen, or let it at least throw an error.
okay. Then beware of this fighter planes.
Yeah.
How come that jar file was created inside this workspace?
See, you might have not selected the browse के option से the wisdom वाला folder.
No, I did selected that.
Some mistake in doing that, because that is from where you decide that it should go and sit in your default folder. You go through the steps one more time. Maybe you might find a
Okay.
problem. What went wrong while you were doing it.
Okay.
So you are done now. Okay. On top you have a computer icon. See where date is given.
Okay.
Click on that. Yeah. Select System Ethernet 0. Wait. Let it get selected. It is still working.
It always shows in that fashion.
No. It should show you a computer.
Otherwise, can we see it here?
From yeah. You can see it from here as well. Type Hadoop FS.
Just a minute. It actually doesn't clears. It just keeps that screen, right?
Yeah. It takes it above. This is not getting connected. We'll have to check.
Yeah.
Hadoop
Hadoop
FS
cat.
-cat /user /wisdom /word count, whatever folder name you had given for the output, slash part hyphen 5 times 0.
What are the meanings of these minus cat, minus ls, minus all those keywords?
Minus cat is for viewing the contents of a file.
Okay.
And what is the other one that you said? See, your program is executed.
Yeah. ls is list, I
For
guess, right?
listing, yeah. ls is for listing. Mkdir is for making a directory. Change chown is for changing an owner. Chmod is for changing the mode or permissions.
Yesterday I tried this. Help.
Yeah. Try Hadoop FS help. No, spelling is wrong.
Now you said that I don't have to remember the command syntax.
Right.
So how we can
See, in this
recollect
status,
those things when just
everything.
using this? Okay. Now, like in .NET environment, whenever you type in some characters,
No,
the
you don't have like that.
pop-up.
Autocomplete is
Yeah.
not there.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
And about this task, we need to create a document. So whatever things we are executing, right?
Right.
But I already did the first one, configuration of Hadoop.
That's
So
okay.
again, do I need
No, no, that's
format
okay.
this
No,
one?
no, 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 no. That's okay. That's okay.
Okay. So I will skip first task,
And
and from
second
second
one.
task onward, I will.
Second one is also done for you.
Okay.
Now I've already, anyways, I've checked the output, so I know that you have done both the task, first one and second one. So you can skip it. You can start it from the third one.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, chalo. Bye bye. See
Yeah.
you on Monday.
Okay. Bye. See you then.
Yeah, bye.
Happy week.
Happy weekend to you as well.
Yeah.